I have just finished my first playthrough of Elden Ring, blind playthrough, that took about 200 hours to complete, including the DLC. I've never done, I don't think, a tier list before. I don't think I've ever actually made one, weirdly, so I have no idea how long this is going to take. Could take multiple hours, or it could take like half an hour. There are a few bosses I missed glancing over this tier list template, none that are major. All the ones I missed, I'm pretty sure, are just reused normal enemies. Because I know tier lists attract people with very strong opinions, I will immediately put at the beginning here, opinions are always subjective. Someone disliking a boss that you like, or vice versa, isn't an attack on you. And sometimes you can't have tangible reasons for liking or disliking a boss. Sometimes you just do or don't vibe with one. Opinions are always subjective, but mine are always wrong. That is true. Oh, also, saying I don't like this boss doesn't necessarily mean this boss is bad. It just means I don't personally like this boss. Finally, in my mind, a boss's arena, general like look and design, and music all factor into how good the experience of the fight is, so I will definitely be considering those in my ranking. I am using a template here by Blue Quill, which I have modified slightly to add a couple of tiers. And actually, first things first, I'm going to add one more tier for Lamenter, my least favourite boss in all of From Software. I hate Lamenter. It's terrible. It's an NPC style boss, which I don't personally enjoy fighting that much anyway. Secondly, it has an attack where it just turns into a load of clones, and if you don't find the real one quickly enough, you get insta-killed. I don't have much more to say on that. I just hate that. And from here, I will go alphabetically. First of all, Abductor Virgins. I missed this boss on my first playthrough. I have now seen this boss on my second playthrough, which I started very soon after finishing my first, but I am not going to factor my unfinished second playthrough that's still in the early game into this tier list, so that goes in the bosses I missed category. Adan, Thief of Fire. I didn't find this boss for a long time, which sounds ridiculous because the Everjail is so obviously out in the open and so early on, being in Liurnia, but I just didn't enter this Everjail for ages. So I was a little over leveled when I came over here. It was fine. Like, it's an NPC boss, so I'm never particularly happy about them, but there's nothing bad about this boss. It's just sort of there. So I think C tier works quite well for it. You can summon a big fireball that isn't particularly dangerous. I don't know, he doesn't do much. Alecto. Okay. I didn't enjoy this fight when I did it. The Black Knife Assassins are an interesting one. I think they're good, like they're well designed in their moveset, but they can be quite annoying to fight sometimes. And I think Alecto is the most annoying one to fight because she has some attacks where she like hits you and then you take damage over time afterwards from the hits, kind of like Malekith, which I find a bit annoying. There are definitely some bosses in this where if you go to the stream where I beat them, or some of the streams where I fought them, and listen to what I say about them then, you might think I would rank them a lot lower than I'm actually going to rank them here. Clear-headedness brings slightly more reasonable takes. I think Alecto's good. She's definitely the most difficult of the Black Knife Assassins. Well, there's this one. We'll speak about this one when we come to it. But I think she's quite good. Ancestor Spirit, excellent boss. A tier. I really like Ancestor Spirit. It's not a difficult fight. I think it's very easy, but it's just really fun. The moveset is good, although not particularly complex. The soundtrack is incredible. The design of the boss, the design of the arena is incredible. To be fair, I might have found it boring if the atmosphere wasn't as good. But the atmosphere is so good that I'm putting it in A tier, definitely. Off the top of my head, I can't think what the difference between Ancestor Spirit and Regal Ancestor Spirit actually is. I'll think about that more when we come to Regal Ancestor Spirit. Ancient Dragon Man is different. I'm going to put Ancient Dragon Man in D tier. I didn't like this fight. A, it's an NPC style boss, which I never particularly enjoy. B, it has some weird attacks as far as I remember. I can't remember how many times I fought it, only a couple. There was one that was effectively an insta-kill. I think it took me from whole health to no health. I just found it annoying. I can't remember too much of its moveset beyond that. Lansseax is another one that I was kind of over-leveled for, so it's difficult for me to judge where to put Lansseax. I think the moveset of Lansseax is good, so I'm going to put her in B tier, because I do enjoy really almost all of the dragon fights. She flies away when you first meet her. I remember being disappointed that she flew away, because I was enjoying fighting her, so I think B tier is a good spot for her to be. Now, Senessax is very similar moveset-wise, but in water, and I'm not sure if that affects the lightning, but I felt like it did. I always felt with Senessax that I was constantly getting hit by things that I didn't think should hit me. I ended up feeling okay with it when I beat it, but the process to getting there was annoying. Ancient Hero of Zamor. I'm going to go with B tier, because I quite like the moveset. It's not incredibly memorable. I'm generally less annoyed than a lot of people by the reuses of bosses and the reuses of enemies as bosses. I don't have a huge problem with that in an open world game like this. There isn't anything that's bad about it. There isn't anything that particularly stands out about it. It could go C tier, but I'm gonna put it B tier. It's fine. I like fighting it. It's a good one. Astel. Now I need to remember which Astel is which. Naturalborn of the Void is the one you fight en route to Ranni's questline, and then Stars of Darkness is in like a cave in Consecrated Snowfield. I remember not having a problem with Naturalborn and then getting annoyed with Stars of Darkness, but I don't remember why. Ah, that'll be why. Yes, Stars of Darkness has an annoying grab attack in its second phase. There you go, that's why. I don't think it really makes a difference though, because I think they're both C tier. I really like the design visually of these. They're incredibly fascinating and weird, and I love that. But the actual fight doesn't do much. I mean, the Naturalborn could be B tier. It doesn't feel like a B tier to me. It's one of those ones that has very strange movement and teleports over to the other side of the arena. You're right, Bs don't have tiers. They do in fact have compound eyes. But you're still banned. Battlemage Hugues or Huge or Hugues or Hugues. Just a reused NPC enemy type. He doesn't really do anything. He has a big hammer spell and he has a big nuclear bomb spell, if I remember correctly. And I don't remember really anything else about him, which means he's not memorable, which means he's in D tier. But next is Bayle the Dread. Bayle the Dread is an S tier boss. Despite the fact that I did get annoyed in the process of fighting Bayle, in hindsight, Bayle is very much S tier. Easily one of From Software's best dragon fights, up there with Midir and Calamite. Love this boss, love this soundtrack, love Egon's voice acting. Also, just as a spectacle, Bayle is incredible. The one slight complaint I have with this boss is the attack shooting fire and lasers all over the arena is not that intuitive, but I did kind of learn how to deal with it at the end. In the end, this boss was just very fun. It is an epic battle. Also, the fact that he has a weak point, I really appreciate. I like bosses having weak points on their bodies when they're this large. I think that's a really good mechanic where you have to actually visually investigate the design of the boss and see, oh, this leg that's been chopped off actually takes more damage, and discover that. I think that's fun. I do wish it had a tail cut. That goes for all dragons. From Software came up with one of my favorite mechanics of all time in tail cuts in Dark Souls 1, and then they basically never used it again afterwards, and I don't understand why. Beastman of Farum Azula. Definitely mid. Again, it's an enemy turned into a boss, but the fact that you encounter this boss before you encounter it as a common enemy, I think stops it from being D tier for me. It doesn't do much because it's later on just a common enemy, but it was enjoyable. It's not a threat. I don't think it qualifies for being poor. Beastman of Farum Azula Duo is in D tier. I can't remember where this is. I know I fought it. It's not one of the ones I missed. But this is a reused boss because you've already encountered the initial one, and it's also a duo boss, which I feel is really hard to get right. I'm not opposed to the idea of a duo boss. Some of my favorite bosses in From Software are duo bosses, or in Silent Smoke, for example, but I do feel that 90% of the time when you do a duo boss, it just doesn't work. I feel like the enemies need to complement each other, and the Beastmen of Farum Azula have such similar movesets that they don't really complement each other. Black Blade Kindred. Okay, the two boss versions of the Black Blade Kindred have different weapons, so the person who made the tier list should have split this into two, in my opinion, but it doesn't make a difference for me. They're both A tier. I love Black Blade Kindred. I don't have a huge amount to say about it. I just really enjoy the fight. It's a very intuitive, learnable moveset. It doesn't have any bullshit. It's just really fun for me. The only small criticism I would give to this would be the arena for the one in the Forbidden Lands is a bit questionable. It's very easy to fall off the sides of things and get stuck on hills and rocks and trees. But the boss itself, really, really fun. One of my favorites. And the normal Black Knife Assassin. I'm gonna say this Black Knife Assassin, I feel like I don't want to put it in C tier. I feel like C tier is too low for it, but then I feel like B tier is too high for it, because it's a simpler version of Alecto who's already in B tier. I'll put it in C tier because it's at the end of a catacomb and it doesn't do a huge amount. The Invisible Black Knife is awful. E tier. I hate it. I hate it with a burning passion. Dreadful. Delete it from the game. This was so annoying to fight. I came back here when I was way over leveled and I still almost died to this boss. I understand it's in water and you are supposed to use its footprints to find it, but it doesn't help. And I think the difference between this and something like Priscilla, who also goes invisible, and to be fair, I'm not a huge fan of that mechanic with Priscilla either, and I think the difference is the speed of the enemy. Priscilla's slow, so when you see the footprints, the boss is still there when you try to swing for it. Whereas with the Black Knife Assassin, I feel most of the time you see the footprints and you swing and it's already leapt to the side or something, and then you just get backstabbed. It's just very annoying. Black Knife Assassin Wounded can go in D tier, that's a poor boss. Just a normal Black Knife Assassin that starts at like half health, D tier. There isn't anything extra to talk about there, it's just not as good. Black Knight Edredd. Black Knight Edredd's a weird one. He gives you very little time to do anything, because he flies about all the time. He has huge combos, and I feel like his arena should be bigger. I think he should be a good boss on moveset alone, but I think the fact that you're supposed to be fighting him in an enclosed room, I think that makes him C tier for me. But I could also receive arguments for B tier on that one. Black Knight Garrew is definitely going to be fully in B tier. Black Knight Garrew is fun. He gets extra points for being a frog. That was just a really funny skill to see him use. He's just frog. He grab you with his tongue. No notes. 10 out of 10 would fight again. Bloodhound Knight. Bloodhound Knight's an interesting one because I feel like on paper it's good, but I just get annoyed whenever I fight it. So I feel like I have to put it in C tier. I'm never able to find my rhythm on the Bloodhound Knight. Bols Carian Knight can go in C tier as well. He's enjoyable. He's just also another troll enemy, so he's not really anything different. Borealis. Okay. Borealis. As I said earlier, I like the majority of the dragon fights in this game, and I have no problem with them constantly reusing the dragon model and just adding tons of dragon fights, because I really like fighting the dragons. That doesn't extend to Borealis. Fucking yes! Die! God, you're such a bad boss! The hitboxes on this boss's breath attacks are so weird. I still don't know where you're supposed to stand on half of this boss's attacks, because the mist sprays so far. I feel like you constantly get hit when you didn't feel like you should be in the breath. I'm putting this boss in D tier because I got really annoyed at it because I could not get the breath attacks and they do so much damage. I beat him eventually, having come back from having done most of the DLC and feeling like, oh, I should be way over leveled for this boss. And it was still really hard. Maybe I'm just bad at it, but I just cannot with the breath attacks. So for me, Borealis very much D tier. Cemetery Shade, C? I don't know. I never got the hang of Cemetery Shade, but I also never struggled with Cemetery Shade. I don't know what this boss's deal is. It's very sort of zippy all over the place, and it has very fast, high damage slashes, but also it has like no health. It doesn't feel like a full boss a lot of the time. The one with skeletons, I'm going to put a tier lower, D tier, because not a fan of bosses that summon minions. It just feels like artificially adding difficulty in a way that isn't fun. It feels like the laziest way to make a fight more difficult. Chief Bloodfiend didn't really do much that was different to normal Bloodfiends. I don't remember this fight being particularly difficult, or particularly easy, or particularly rememberable. Either way, I think it's C tier, unless I'm forgetting interesting things that it does. If I don't remember the boss, then it's probably not bad, but it's definitely not good either. Cleanrot Knight bosses, I missed both of these encounters, I'm pretty sure. I have a list of every boss I beat and how many deaths it took, and Cleanrot Knights appear nowhere on that boss list. Commander Gaius. What do I say about Commander Gaius? If you asked me right before entering the attempt where I beat this boss, I would say D tier at best. If you asked me right after beating this boss, I probably would say B tier. I really struggle to rank this boss. And I think most of it is in the charge attack. The charge attack is just really annoying. But I don't know if it's enough to drag the whole fight down, because the rest of the fight is difficult, but I don't think it's bad. But I don't want to put it in C tier either, because that feels too generic for this boss. I think he probably is a good boss, minus the charge attack. I'm going to ignore the charge attack, because I think the charge attack is genuinely bad. I think it's too precise. But I'm going to put him in B tier overall, because I do think he's a good boss. I appreciate that his arena is large. Mobile bosses should have very large arenas. I don't appreciate that he doesn't have a unique boss theme, but I think overall he can go in B tier. Now, Commander Niall. This is another one that I really didn't enjoy when I did it. Thinking back on it from the perspective of having finished the game and being, not in a state where I've just been annoyed and just finished the fight, I feel like it's unfair to say that this isn't a good fight, because it probably is overall. I don't like the fact that it starts out with summons, but you can get rid of the summons quite quickly. Overall, I'll probably put Commander Niall in B tier as well. Much as I can't believe I'm saying that, because, right after I beat the boss, I would be like D tier, immediate D tier. I don't think he would ever end up in A tier, but I think I would have a lot less trouble putting him in B tier if he didn't start off with those two minions. Commander O'Neill is very similar to Commander Niall, easier, has more summons. And the summons are very explicitly ranged enemies, which annoys me, and I'm going to put him in C tier. A simpler version of the proper boss, and has even more summons and summons with ranged attacks. Also, he brings his summons back. I'm not sure if Commander Niall ever does. Count Ymir, Mother of Fingers, is just kind of pathetic. There isn't much more to say. He doesn't really do much. He just sort of summons small finger creepers and then dies. I never felt like he was a threat. Original Crucible Knight, B tier. This is a good boss. It's very difficult when you first meet it, but overall, good fight. I enjoyed it. Especially once you realize you can jump over the flying attack. It is fun to jump over that, and if you jump at the right time or in the right way, you can end up right next to him when he lands and get some hits in. Crucible Knight Siluria. I don't know exactly where to put Siluria. I enjoyed Siluria. That dagger grab attack that Siluria has was a little annoying when I was fighting her. I'm not sure I can put her in A tier. I wouldn't say she's an excellent boss. I think she's another B tier. She doesn't do much that's unique, because she's mostly just a spear type Crucible Knight, but she's certainly enjoyable to fight. Crucible Knight and Crucible Knight Ordovis I didn't find on my first playthrough. Crucible Knight and Misbegotten Warrior are, in my opinion, a poor boss. This is another example of two enemies that are not designed with each other in mind, whose movesets don't really complement one another, just being stuck together for the sake of having an extra boss. They're better than the two Beastman in terms of their movesets complementing each other, because Misbegotten Warrior is a lot more mobile than Crucible Knight. D tier I think. Works for them. Crystallian on its own. I don't know. I don't think it's complex enough to go in B tier. And I'm not a huge fan of the way you kind of need to use a specific type of physical damage. Like, yes, bosses can have high resistances to certain damage types, but the fact that unless you're using something that does high blunt damage, your attacks like sort of clink off them is a little bit annoying, because it means if you've built your whole character around one moveset, you're kind of at a huge disadvantage. Like, I didn't dislike fighting the Crystallians, and I do really like the design of them visually. I think they're excellent in terms of that, but they also aren't good. Unusually, I think actually the dual bosses here both go in the same tier as the original. I think Crystallians are actually an example of where the movesets do complement each other reasonably well, and particularly the Spear and Staff one, which was the first Crystallian boss I found, worked quite well together in terms of their moveset, with one staying back and one being forwards. But I did also find them very easy once I worked out the gimmick. So I think C tier works for all of them. I don't think the duo bosses are actually dragged down by being duo bosses in this case. Curseblade Labyrinth. Did Labyrinth do anything different from the normal Curseblade enemies? Let me look at my list here. I didn't die to Curseblade Labyrinth, so it can't have been that hard. Okay, the fact that I don't remember anything about this boss and nobody's bothered to actually write the wiki pages, I think means that it definitely goes in C tier. Clearly it was fine as an experience, but it just didn't lodge in my memory. It didn't stand out at all. Dancer of Renah is very much the same. Dancer of Renah was piss easy. I don't particularly have anything to say about this boss. I don't really remember the moveset, I just remember that it was quite pathetic. Deathbirds. I feel like there are less Deathbirds than there are Deathrite Birds, so I'm struggling to remember what's unique about them. I think they just have less moves than Deathrite Birds. Its grab attack is quite annoying. That's something I remember about Deathbirds. They have an annoying grab attack. They only have 4 moves, and one of them is a slightly annoying grab, so I think they will also go in C tier. I like the design of them, but it's basically the same as the Deathrite Bird design, but less intimidating. Deathrite Birds really should be split into multiple, in my opinion, on this tier list, but they're not, unfortunately. I think overall, all the Deathrite Birds, it feels like a cop-out to put them in C tier again. They often annoyed me. That's the problem with them. Yeah, it feels like a cop-out, but I'm putting them in C tier again. They just, They have certain attacks that are just very irritating. They set large amounts of the ground on fire, and it makes it very difficult to actually get up to them to hit them. And I'm not a fan of that, personally. But I really like their design. Death Knights should be a good boss. They really should be. But they have a grab attack that heals half their fucking health bar. And it just, I can't bring myself to put them anywhere higher than D tier because of that. They should be B tier. Most of their moveset is fun, enjoyable to fight, but I just can't get past that. One of my biggest gripes is enemies that heal themselves, and these things heal half their health bar. And I know, just get good and dodge the grab attack. Not a good argument in my opinion. Any boss can be justified by just saying, just get good and dodge that attack. Any boss can be justified by that. And it is a reasonably easy one to dodge, but the consequences are so annoying. It's the size of the heal. If it was like 10% of their health or something, you know, it would still annoy me, but it wouldn't be nearly as bad. It's like 50% or something close to that. It looks like 50% on the health bar. Decaying Exikes, I don't know how you pronounce that, is B tier for me. Enjoyed this one a lot when I fought it, which I didn't expect to, because I generally don't like when bosses do large area of effects that build up status effects, and this one builds up Scarlet Rot with like its stomps and stuff. But I just didn't mind that when I fought it. I just enjoyed it. I don't really have much more to say there. Like, you know, I just find the moveset enjoyable. Demi-Human Chief Duo is a poor boss, in my opinion. Not only is it a duo boss, whose movesets don't really complement one another, it's also got, like, 10 normal demi-humans in the arena. Why does it have that? Justify yourself, Miyazaki. Now, the demi-human queens don't do anything. This tier list is missing a demi-human queen. I don't see a demi-human queen Margot, and there is one in the game, and I think it's the first one I did. So I'm gonna say Gillica represents both Gillica and Margot. Mariga I didn't find, but I think the other two are both in C tier. I quite enjoyed fighting Gillica and Margot. I think they were fine. They were easy though, and they didn't have anything to stand out about them. Maggie was fine as well. She did have a few minions around her, but they were very weak. I think they could be B tier if there was more to them. Now for Master Yoda. I got annoyed at this one, but I actually think he's well designed. He is actually B tier. I think he should be. He's a good boss. I think I just was struggling with my patience at that point in my playthrough. I started to struggle with my patience towards the end, but I think on a replay I probably would spend more time with him and actually like enjoy him. Divine Beast Dancing Lion is an S tier boss. I love this boss so much. I love this boss with all my heart. One of the best bosses in the whole game. It's so good. For a start, the just design of this boss, just visually, the arena being like an actual stage, the music is, it's one of my favorite From Software soundtracks. It's so unique and so fun. Once you get the hang of it, this fight really just feels like a performance. There is a joyousness to this fight, I feel. I love the fact that it cycles through the elements. I love almost everything about this boss. There is one teensy little thing that I would change about Divine Beast Dancing Lion, which is the fact that if it gets you with its grab attack, the next time you use a flask, it will also heal the boss. I'm not a fan of that, but you get grabbed so infrequently that it's fine. And again, it's not a large heal. That's what separates it from the Death Knights. I love Divine Beast Dancing Lion, and I could talk about Divine Beast Dancing Lion and how good it is for probably 15 years in a row without stopping for breath, but I won't. But anyway, Divine Beast Dancing Lion, incredible boss, one of From Software's best. Divine Beast Dancing Lion Deathblight, poor boss, not one of From Software's best. This encounter just is a masterclass in taking a spectacular boss and ruining it by adding basilisks. I mean, it's bad enough Divine Beast Dancing Lion spraying out Deathblight as it leaps through the air, but having like 3 basilisks spawn every time it enters that phase, given that the phase changes, they come faster as the fight progresses. It's just not good, in my opinion. It just doesn't work. That really doesn't work for me. It really feels like they thought we need another boss encounter. Let's grab one that we've already designed, put it somewhere where it wasn't designed to be, and add in something that wasn't designed to be a part of the fight. And it didn't work. The best thing about that encounter was that I got to listen to the OST again, because that theme is so good. Draconic Tree Sentinel, S tier in my top 10. Very fun, hard but fair. Good improvement on the existing Tree Sentinel enemies, I feel. I like the way that this is a variant of an existing boss that changes enough that it feels very different. This is easily one of the best bosses in the game, in my opinion. Dragonkin Soldier. This is the one that's just lying down in Siofra River. I'm going to say this is B tier. Good automatically. I like the moveset of Dragonkin Soldier. I have fun with it. I like finding the different parts of its body that are good to stick to actually like get hits in safely. This one was the second one I encountered, and I think it has less like stuff than Dragonkin Soldier of Noxtella. Dragonkin Soldier Lake of Rot I'm going to put in C tier. Its arena was actually completely manageable for me. I didn't go into the rot once, but I don't like the idea of the arena. The fact that it's the third one I encountered and it's in an arena that I'm not really a fan of, it doesn't have anything unique to it. It was also a disappointment because when I saw it sitting in the middle of the Lake of Rot, it's all like curled up, and I thought, what is that weird intimidating thing? That's clearly a monster that's going to get up. It's going to be some strange creature that I'm going to have to fight. And then it got up and it was just another Dragonkin soldier. Dragonkin soldier of Noxtella. This is the one that has the most stuff. It has more moves because it has a second phase. This is the one that has an achievement associated with it. This is also the one I found first, and I really enjoyed it, and I'm actually going to put it in A tier. I thought this fight was great. I don't have a huge amount to say about it that I haven't said about the other Dragonkin soldiers. I immediately vibed with it, for lack of a better term. This feels like the original one that they made because it has the phase 2 that the other two don't. It feels like this is the actual proper Dragonkin soldier boss, and then the other two were the reusals. And from one A tier to another A tier, Dragonlord Placidusax, whom I'm almost missed. I had to come back to Farum Azula to find this boss. I didn't find it difficult, which I think was partially due to the fact that I was most of the way through the DLC when I came back, so I was a bit higher leveled than you would expect to be. But I enjoyed this. It was good. It has a fun moveset. I don't think it has an especially tough moveset, but maybe I just played well. I really love the aesthetic of this. It feels so primordial. It feels like something from an age before the current age of the world. I think more than any other encounter in the game, when you just see it hovering there and then it slowly unfurls, it almost evokes cosmic egg imagery, and I really like that. And I like how time like reverses in the cutscene as you go into the boss arena. Dryleaf Dane as a boss, I did not fight. Didn't find that. Elden Beast. Okay. Elden Beast is kind of C tier for me. Hot take maybe? I don't know. I don't know what the community consensus on Elden Beast is. Of all of the From Software games I've played, I think it's the worst final boss. And I do consider this separate to Radagon, as I believe does this tier list. This boss really annoyed me, partially due to the fact that they're tied together, that you have to fight Radagon again every time you want to fight Elden Beast. That really pissed me off. I feel like I probably would have enjoyed both a lot more, A, if they were separate, and B, if I just had more patience. But overall, I still think this is C tier, and I think the largest aspect of it being C tier for me is the fact that it moves away from you as much as it does. I know you can use Torrent during the fight, but I actually found it easier not using Torrent during the fight because Torrent kept getting fucking killed. Torrent's dodges and jumps are really weird. The timing on what you do to dodge attacks when you're on Torrent is completely different from the timing when you're off Torrent, and there aren't enough encounters in the game where you're expected to use Torrent to actually teach you how to use Torrent. And the fact that the final boss then is designed in a way that encourages you to use Torrent, I feel is a massive fumble on the developer's part. Things I like, the design of the boss and the arena and the OST are all incredible. I love the way this thing looks. I love the fact that the arena is like an ethereal Ash Lake in a way. I love the soundtrack, especially the vocals in the cutscene as it changes. Really, really good. Unfortunately, the fight itself is not good in my opinion, and I'm sad about that because I really wish it was good. Ymir of the Briar is an S tier boss in my opinion. I just really enjoyed it so much. It's a fight that rewards being aggressive. It's a fight that rewards staying up near Ymir. It's you and one person with a sword fighting each other, which I really like as a basic premise for the boss. You know, the ones that I enjoy the most tend to be like that. His like telekinesis sword I think is really unique and interesting. I like his whole move set. It's fast paced, it's aggressive. It's one of those ones that feels like a dance, and I really enjoyed it. Erdtree Avatar, the generic version, probably going to be a hot take from me. I don't think I can quite say it's excellent. I almost put it in A tier. B tier. I think a lot of people would put this in C tier because it is one that recurs a lot, and it is, for the most part, the same moveset as Asylum Demon in Dark Souls 1. But it's just really fun. I really like fighting the Erdtree avatar, and it's got a great OST. I don't really have anything more to say on that. I just really like fighting it. There are a few differences between it and the Asylum Demon where I find it a lot more enjoyable than I actually find the Asylum Demon. For example, like the Foot Stomp Asylum Demon doesn't have that. But yeah, I just really enjoy this, and I think it actually has a really good OST as well. The Erdtree Avatar Duo, I will put in C tier. I didn't struggle with it because I was able to separate them, but again, duo bosses can work, but really, a duo boss that just duplicates the enemy, that doesn't work. Erdtree Burial Watchdog, this is the sword variant. I don't really want to put it in C tier because I actually enjoy fighting it, but I don't want to put it as high as B tier either because it's not in the same tier as like Crucible Knight. I think I'll put it in C tier, and I'll do the staff one at the same time as well, but it's very, very simple. I do really like the design. Aesthetically, these are really interesting, I feel. The duo boss, I can't remember much about the duo boss. It'll be one staff and one sword. They don't really stay back, the ones with the staff. Like, they're spellcasters, but they still come towards you. So I'm not sure that these movesets work together either. But I don't remember the fight well enough to say whether it's necessarily poor or just low end of passable. I'll put it C for now, and I might change my mind later. And so the lightning one will also go in C. It's just a normal one, but it does lightning stuff instead of fire stuff. The Erdtree Burial Watchdog with imps, however, will go in D tier. That's a poor boss. It's just the Erdtree Burial Watchdog, but they added 4 imps. What did you do that for? Never do it again. Eskar, Priest of Blood, I did not find. Falling Star Beast. Is Falling Star Beast a good boss or an excellent boss? I think Falling Star Beast is an excellent boss, actually. I really like fighting Falling Star Beast. Initially, I got annoyed at both Falling Star Beast and full-grown Falling Star Beast. Having fought multiple of them and got the hang of them, I really enjoy fighting them. I think they have quite a fun moveset. Their charge attack is kind of Vort-like. It's quite fun to deal with once you work out the timing for it. And I will actually skip ahead slightly and put the full-grown Falling Star Beast up in A tier as well. I think the full-grown Falling Star Beast is better than the normal Falling Star Beast, but I still think the normal Falling Star Beast is also A tier. Fell Twins. Weirdly enough, despite my complaining about dual bosses, I am going to put these in B tier, and I enjoyed this fight on my first playthrough. I did it first try, and it was fun for me. It was difficult, but I enjoyed it. It didn't particularly stand out. I do think it's quite fun how the arena sort of is just blackness. My biggest negative would be it's kind of difficult to see where the borders of the arena are because it turns black like that, but I found it fun on my first playthrough. Fia's Champions, awful, hated it, kill it with fire. God, I hate this boss. This was one of the ones that annoyed me the most. Oh God, I hated it so much. I don't like NPC bosses to start with. We've been through that. I don't like multi-bosses to start with. We've been through that. This is a shit ton of fucking NPC bosses in the same arena. It's like 5 enemies total that you fight over the course of this, and they're all NPCs. They're all annoying, and there's one of them who's a little bastard who puts Death Blight over the whole fucking arena, and God, I hate this boss so much with a burning passion. I don't want to talk about it any longer. Fire Giant, however, is at the very least A tier. Fire Giant might be S tier. I think Fire Giant's S tier, actually. Fire Giant's so fun. It was a little irritating at first, but once I got the hang of it, it was just, it was really good. It's, again, another incredible spectacle, especially the cutscenes. I think Fire Giant's second phase cutscene is probably my favorite in the whole game. Maybe my favorite cutscene in From Software. Just the image of it offering its own foot as like a sacrifice to awaken the god in its chest. Something feels so primeval about that. I think the Fell God to me feels the most out of anything in this game like a true god, like a force of the world, because of that cutscene. And also, the boss is reasonably fun to fight. It's a good one. I like it. I don't think there's any bullshit that I can think of. There are things that are hard. It's definitely got a lot of spacing to it, especially in the second phase that you've got to contend with, but it's all manageable. Flying Dragon Agil. B tier. Most of the dragons are probably going to go in B tier. This was obviously the first one I fought. I could actually receive arguments for A tier on this one. I really enjoyed it. One of the things about dragons, of course, is that they have one of the best OSTs in the game. The moveset is great as well, and unlike a certain person's Frost Breath, the Fire Breath is reasonably intuitive. Sometimes you'll get hit and you think like, oh, I really shouldn't have got hit there, but generally pretty intuitive to tell where the Fire Breath's going to hit you and where it isn't. And it's just really fun. I like that one. Frenzied Duelist. I can't remember a huge amount about Frenzied Duelist. I don't think it's a particularly memorable one. It's not bad. I'm not even sure that it's really C tier. It's enjoyable. I would say it's probably B tier. The fact that it's not memorable gives me pause putting it here, but I think actually the experience of fighting it from what I remember is pretty fun, so I think it should be there. I look at what else is in C tier and I don't think it belongs with Chief Bloodfiend and Cemetery Shade. Ghost Flame Dragon, another B tier one, like most dragons. I don't really have anything to complain about. There isn't too much really with these that's different from like a Yield. The one in battle, however, does fall down to C tier for me because of the context that it's in. Either you need to wait for the battle to finish, or you need to go in while it's still fighting the other soldiers, and then the other soldiers tend to start attacking you while the dragon is still alive, even though you're not damaging them, especially the archers. That annoys me enough to take the one that's in battle down from B tier to C tier. And then the summoner one, I think, is also B tier. It has minions again, but they're a lot more manageable. They're a lot weaker. There are a lot fewer of them. And generally, I enjoyed fighting this one a lot. Azula, another B tier one, I'd say. Again, I mean, she has some unique magic attacks that make her stand out from other dragons of the like standard type dragons I've ranked so far. I think she's probably my favorite. I enjoyed the Azula fight. I like her a lot more than the other magic based dragon, which I think I'm about to rank, which is Glintstone Dragon Smaragd. I'm going to put Glintstone Dragon Smaragd in C tier. I never quite got the hang of this. There's a magic attack that Smaragd can do that just kind of insta-killed me the first time I fought him, and I never quite worked out how to do it, and I get a bit frustrated with this fight. Godfrey. A lot of people hate the fact that Godfrey exists because he's a reskinned Godric, but the thing is, I absolutely love Godric, and he has the same moveset as Godric, so I can't put him in C tier because I do really enjoy fighting him. I liked having another opportunity to fight Godric, so I think B tier for me. He's down a bit from where Godric will be because he is just a reskin, but he's there, he's fun. Godfrey First Elden Lord. I'm gonna put him in S tier because when I fought him and I did him first try, I really loved him. He was in my top 10. He's got a really good soundtrack. If you go and listen to the Lord's Apparition, I think it's called, it's like a choral version of the main Godfrey's first phase music. He is a bit too easy, but he was really fun. I am going to move First Elden Lord down to A tier, actually. I've been convinced. He's not quite complex enough to be S tier. Godfrey First Elden Lord / Horaloo, easy S tier. One of From Software's best bosses easily, in my opinion. He and another boss we're going to get to later have been for the longest time and still are in contention for my favorite boss in the whole game, DLC included. He's challenging, but he is fair once you figure him out. The only thing that frustrates me a bit is that the grab attacks are really difficult to deal with in the second phase. They're very, very difficult when he starts Super Smash Brosing you out of the arena. Overall, it's such a good fight. It has a great OST as well, good cutscenes, the reveal of Godfrey and Horaloo being the same person, excellent. It's just so good. It's how you do a boss fight right, in my opinion. Godric the Grafted, another S tier boss. When I did Godric, he was my favorite. The OST, again, is incredible. The cutscenes are fantastic. Both times I beat him, I've been left feeling, oh, I want to fight him again. And that is what you want to feel after a boss fight. You want to feel, oh, I beat him. That's a shame. I was really enjoying fighting him. Moving on from that, yet another S tier boss. Godskin Apostle. I mean, what can I say? Best OST in the game. and that's coming from a Divine Beast Dancing Lion OST stan. The boss is so fun. I don't find it too difficult, the Godskin Apostles on their own. There's no like negatives that I can think of with the Godskin Apostles on their own. I can't think of a single negative about the fight. I love the design of them. They're so weird, the way they're like stretchy puppets in a way. The Godskin stretches, the fact that they are covered in actual skin, then the black flame comes out. One of my biggest disappointments with Elden Ring is that we don't get to see the Glowmide Queen. Miyazaki, Glowmide Queen DLC when? Now, the other Godskin related stuff I am not so passionate about. Godskin Apostle and Godskin Noble Spirit Caller Snail I think is passable. Fighting the Godskin Apostle part is fun. It's the fighting the Godskin Noble part I don't like. And the fact that it's the two one after the other just sort of in a cave. The Spirit Caller Snail stuff in general is a bit weird. They just summon other bosses. Godskin Duo, I believe this is a hot take in the community, but if not for hot takes, what are we doing this for? E tier, awful, fuck this fight. I hate it so much. This fight for me is the epitome of their movesets don't complement one another. I don't know if I just got super aggressive RNG on them. I could not separate them, and when you can't separate them, you can't fight them. I beat this boss by sending Godskin Noble to sleep. That's how I did it. They feel like they're designed, visually at least, to remind one of Ornstein and Smough. There's a large chunky one and then a small deft lithe one, except neither one of them moves particularly slowly, and they just absolutely ruin your entire day, especially when Godskin Noble goes into its big fucking spinning bullshit move. You use the pillars? I tried, it didn't work. Smough gets stuck on the pillars. Godskin Noble just fucking spins around them like a bloody bone wheel. Godskin Noble, for me, Godskin Noble is D tier. I really didn't enjoy this fight. A large amount of it has to do with that like rolling along the ground attack. I found it so annoying, as well as the belly slap attack. I also feel like Godskin Noble's arena is kind of weird. There's pews everywhere and you can kind of use the pillars. It kind of obstructs you as much as it obstructs the boss. I think if it wasn't for the roll, Godskin Noble would probably be B tier, and Godskin Duo would probably be like D or C as well. That roll has so much to answer for. Golden Hippopotamus. I really hated this boss when I did it. A large part of that was because of the grab attack, but then with the other hippopotamus enemies in the DLC, I ended up getting the hang of that grab attack. So I don't know if I should put it higher up than I would put it based solely on my experience with the Golden Hippopotamus boss fight, because I might enjoy it more now that I've kind of got the hang of that grab. If I'm just confining myself to my experience with the boss, then this is D tier for me. If I include, I think, what my experience will be the next time I fight it, now that I've worked out how to dodge the grab, then I think it would go up to C tier. It's still a bit annoying. I think I'm going to put it in C tier. Grafted Scion, D tier. I don't like this boss. I don't know what it is. It's just really annoying. I never feel like I have the hang of it. I always feel like I'm just out healing and out damaging it. I cannot for the life of me work out how you get a hit on Grafted Scion without getting hit yourself. I love the design of it. Now, I need to look up what the difference between Grave Warden Duelist and Frenzied Duelist is, because I've already ranked Frenzied Duelist. This just looks like the normal thing. Okay, I'll put them both at the same. They're both B tier. I can't see what the difference is between these two bosses on the wiki. They just look like they're the same thing as far as I can tell. I enjoy fighting them. They're nothing special, but I like fighting them. Great Worm Theodorix is definitely more positive than negative. It's either B or C. And I think part of it is based on the arena. There's the large land octopodes nearby, kind of awkward to deal with and can get involved in the fight. I found this one more awkward to fight than Magma Worm Makar. I'm going to say B tier. I enjoyed the experience, I had fun. Guardian Golem, I have fought on my second playthrough, but again, since I missed it on my first playthrough, I'm going to put it in the bosses I missed category. Jagged Peak Drake, like most dragons, I'm putting this in B tier. I don't have a problem with these dragons being reskinned and appearing throughout the game. I like fighting them a lot. Jagged Peak Drake, Wounded Drake, however, C tier. I do like that you can just watch the two fighting each other, but as a fight, I feel like it would be more fun if one of them was like genuinely on your side. It's just a bit awkward if you get both of them aggroed on you. Jory Elder Inquisitor. Terrible. I hate this fight. It summons like 6,000 enemies and they blast you with a million rune arcs and it's just horrible. This was, I think it's the only boss in any game that is so terrible that I genuinely just laughed. Normally if 4 enemies spawned or something and started blasting me, I would get annoyed, but there were so many spawned and started blasting me that I just started laughing. It became a comedy. Actually S tier. Kindred of Rot, again, I didn't find. Knight of the Solitary Jail, in my opinion, is D tier if you don't parry him. If you parry him, he's B tier. So overall, I'm putting him in C tier. For a long time, I didn't think of parrying him and I got so annoyed at him. And mostly it's in the crossbow. But yeah, C tier overall, with the little asterisk that I only managed to beat him once I parried him. Leonine Misbegotten, easily A tier, maybe S tier. I love this boss. I don't think he's quite S tier. I think he's A tier. There's nothing unfair about it. It's very aggressive. It just rewards you learning the moveset and playing aggressively yourself as well. Lich Dragon Fortisax. I may be about to have a hot take here because I know a lot of people love this fight. I don't hate it. I got reasonably annoyed with it. I think I'm going to put it in B tier. I think it was mainly to do with the lightning that comes up from underneath you, which makes it very difficult to get a lot of damage in. It does have a great moveset. I love the visuals of it. I love the OST. It's got a fantastic soundtrack. Loretta, Knight of the Haligtree. This is an interesting one because I feel like this version of the boss isn't as good as the version you get in Carian Manor, and I can't work out why. It's not that it's annoying, it's just not as challenging. Oh, I like them both a lot. I can't work out whether this one goes in A tier or B tier. I think it's going to go lower A tier because it's really fun. Mad Pumpkinhead, C tier. Mad Pumpkinhead's fine. There isn't much to it. I could even hear arguments for D tier, to be honest. And I do like the design of it and how it's blind. I do feel that the blindness of the Mad Pumpkinhead is not very well integrated into the mechanics. A lot of the time it doesn't feel like it's blind. Audio versus visual should have a much bigger impact on fighting this boss than it actually does. The Mad Pumpkinhead duo I will put in D tier because again, their movesets don't really complement each other. They're still ridiculously easy, but it's like, okay. Magma Worm. Which Magma Worm is this? Okay, this is kind of difficult because the Gale Tunnel one and the Mount Gelmir one are not counted as separate on this tier list, but I consider them very separate. The Mount Gelmir one for me is B tier because I like fighting Magma Worms generally. The Gale Tunnel one, however, for me is C tier because its arena isn't big enough. I think I'm going to put this at the top of C tier because the picture is the one in Gale Tunnel. Magma Worm Makar, however, B tier. I don't think he quite goes up to A tier. Partially just because I didn't find it very challenging. It doesn't feel like an A tier fight to me. It's definitely a fun boss. I like it. Now, we're going to start getting to some hot takes. I'm about to invite hate comments. Oh, I'm gonna piss off the From Software community with this one. No, actually I'm probably gonna put her in C tier, to be honest. D tier is definitely how I felt after fighting the boss, but I think with hindsight, I think C tier. 95% of my frustration with this boss is the healing mechanic. I can't tell you how much I hate the healing mechanic. Especially if you get hit with the fucking waterfowl dance. She heals so much health if she hits you with that, and it is easily one of the hardest attacks in all of From Software to dodge. Now, good things about this fight: good OST, Field of Flowers, always a good boss arena, great cutscenes, great lore. I like her design. I'm also not a great fan of her doing a shit ton of Scarlet Rot in the second phase. It's pulled down to C tier for me because of the waterfowl dance, the healing mechanic, and the Scarlet Rot. I feel like any one of those without the other two, it would probably be in B tier. Malekith for me is B tier. I don't enjoy the movesets really in either phase that much, but I think phase 2 I would enjoy a lot more if it didn't have the damage over time mechanic, the destined death. I feel like Malekith should be an A or even S tier fight, but there's just something that doesn't vibe for me, and that's part of it. I do really like the reveal that Gurranq is Malekith. I know you got Malekith first try. Took you like 8, J-Man? Why is everyone better at this game than me? took me 12. Actually 12 deaths, 13 attempts. I also don't like that you can fall off the side of his arena. I realise I put him in B tier and then I've done nothing but complain about him. Ancestor Spirit is above Malekith, okay? That's my opinion. Only hot takes on this channel. Our lists will be completely different. Yeah, that's the fun of tier lists. If I go to a tier list, I don't like to see someone do the exact same ranking as me. I like to see what's different. Margit the Fell Omen. I really want to put Margit in S tier, and I'm gonna do it, and you can't stop me. Margit's just really fun. For a start, the OST is very good. Just the setting of the fight, the cutscenes to begin with, the fact that it's the first real fight that you face in the game, the phase 2 transition, and of course great voice acting again. We might be coming up on another hot take here. It's another C tier boss for me. Mesmer is another one like Malenia, where if I did this ranking immediately after fighting him, I would put him in D tier. I have some really big gripes with this boss. Get the obvious one out of the way. This boss killed me after I killed him. I don't think any boss should have effects that are able to kill you after the fight is over. I think as soon as the boss is killed, the game should cease the damage from all of the boss's effects. Anything that visually lingers afterwards, that's fine, but it shouldn't damage you anymore. Those snakes shouldn't have been able to spawn because they hadn't spawned in yet when I killed him. The death animation started and then he went up into the sky and turned into a snake while he was dying. That's bullshit. Now the other thing is, I was already annoyed with this boss. I feel there are some attacks that are a little bit unintuitive, but the other big thing for me is the grab attack. I fully was grabbed by that while I was like a meter away from it. So that, if you'll pardon the pun, has tarnished my opinion of this boss a bit, and that's why he's in C tier. Maybe on subsequent playthroughs I will enjoy the boss more. Now moving on to Meteor, Mother of Fingers, and it's yet another C tier from me. I love the soundtrack. I love the arena, probably my favorite From Software arena. It's so Lovecraftian. I love the design of the boss. I don't enjoy fighting the boss. I don't really have a huge amount more to say on it than that, other than I just didn't really enjoy the fight itself. I got her pretty quickly as well because she bleeds really easily, but there wasn't any fun to it. Like, that's not particularly fun. I didn't find it fun. What more can I say? Midra, however, I think Midra's S tier. Midra's really good. I struggled initially, but then I started getting the hang of it. Some of the bursts of Frenzy Fire in phase 2 are really hard to deal with, but it's just so fun, and it's terrifying. The atmosphere, the OST, the design, him pulling the sword out of himself, excellent horror. And of course, he's Lord of Frenzied Flame, and as we all know, the Frenzied Flame ending is the good ending. I got the good ending, right? That's why Melina said she was going to kill me, because the ending I got was too good. I would never get the bad ending. Mimic tier, passable, in my opinion. It's an NPC type fight, which I don't enjoy. It's your moveset, which is an interesting idea. When your moveset's reflected at you, you already know your moveset. You've done it before, it's your moveset. So it's not very hard. And it's not especially interesting once you get past the novelty of, oh, it's me fighting me. Miranda the Blighted Bloom. Now, I've glanced over this. Misbegotten Crusader is just Leonine Misbegotten, but it has some holy stuff going on. I don't really remember a huge amount about the fight. I think I'm probably going to just stick it in B tier. It's in a cave, which I feel doesn't fit quite as well with Leonine Misbegotten. I think Leonine Misbegotten is best suited as an outside enemy rather than an in a cave enemy. I don't really have any more opinions to offer on that one. I like the sword. The sword looks really good. Leonine's in a Crucible Duo, yes. Crucible Knight and Misbegotten Warrior. Put that in D tier. Speaking of D tier, hello Morg Lord of Blood. I might be crucified again. This is another case of one, in my opinion, should be a good boss. It has everything to be a good boss, but unfortunately there are just certain things about it which I'm going to explain. The hilarious thing is I put Morg Lord of Blood in D tier there, and immediately my concurrent viewers on the YouTube live tab got cut in half. So the first part, the arena is annoying. You get stuck on graves very easily. The arena gets even more annoying in phase 2 because he starts putting fire all over the fucking floor. Or at least I found it really difficult to find somewhere to stand where you wouldn't catch fire. And the thing I hate the most is the Nihil move. In my opinion, scripted damage like that, it's just bad. That's just bullshit. I understand plenty of people don't mind that, but for me, it's nah, fuck that. I would be fine with it if you could roll to avoid it, if it was just a case of rolling to avoid that, and then I'd be like, that's good. I like the drama of the countdown to phase 2. My favourite thing about this boss fight is the OST. Morg, Lord of Blood, is easily for me one of the best OSTs in the game, and I think in all of From Software. It's really, really good. I love Morg's OST. Now, when it comes to Morg the Omen, that does go in B tier for me. I actually really enjoy Morg the Omen fight. It was in my top 10 for a long time. It's a bit simple, so I can't put it above that. But the fact that the much simpler no phase 2, not quite as good OST version of this fight is as high as B tier shows you where the full fight should be. Morgott the Omen King. Morgott the Omen King is the boss I mentioned earlier when ranking Hoaraloo that is in contention with Hoaraloo for my favorite boss in the game. I adore this fight so much. It has an excellent OST, it has a great cutscene revealing Margit is Morgott. The fact that Morgott's moves actually do build on Margit's moves. They're not the same moves, but they are developments of the moves that Margit had, and you can use your knowledge of Margit to factor into helping you fight Morgott. I really like that. Necromancer Garrus. Who the fuck is that again? Who is this man? Oh yeah, I fought him during the stream where I went back and found a lot of bosses that I missed, so I killed 14 bosses in that stream. I think he's D. And now onto the Knights Cavalry. I think they're both A tier. Knights Cavalry is really fun and aesthetically incredible. They're so dark and intimidating. I think I like the Halberd one more than the Flail one, but I can't really pinpoint why. Every time I look at this, I consider putting Black Blade Kindred in S tier. I just like Black Blade Kindred so much. Yeah, fuck it, I'm doing it. I'm moving Black Blade Kindred up to S tier. Now, Knights Cavalry Duo, I'm going to put in B tier instead of A tier. They're not very close to each other, so you only aggro one at a time. So they're not really a duo fight, and I feel like they probably would be annoying if you did aggro both of them. But they're still Knights Cavalry, so they gotta go in B tier. Nox Swordstress and Nox Priest. I'm going to put these in C tier, I think. Again, I didn't find these until really late on, so I was over leveled. They're both quite fast and they both have sort of longer range attacks, so I don't really feel like their movesets are that complementary. I don't really have a huge amount more to say. Neither of them are very complex. They're both pretty simple movesets, but I feel like they would be really hard and quite annoying if you went and did them at the right level. Omen Killer. Omen Killer is B tier. Omen Killer's fun. I would prefer that his boss fight wasn't right next to a couple of dogs. That does take it down slightly, but it's still B tier. His arena's a bit weird. He's got an enjoyable moveset. You find him C because he's not unique. That's fair. That's fair. Omen Killer and Miranda the Blighted Bloom. When I did it, again, I was over leveled and I just was parrying Omen Killer for fun. Miranda the Blighted Bloom didn't fucking do anything during this fight. I feel like it's gotta go D tier. Yeah, it's a stupid combo. The enemies don't go together. Like, I don't know, why are these here? Onyx Lord, probably B tier. I think Onyx Lord's reasonably fun. I could see an argument for C tier because again they become a normal enemy later on, but I find it reasonably enjoyable to fight. Patches, as a boss, is E tier because it's not really a boss. It's just a spear and shield enemy. You hit him a couple of times and he surrenders. As an NPC, S tier. As a boss, E tier. Perfumer Tricia and Misbegotten Warrior. Who the fuck are they? Is this one of those weird combos that just exists for some reason? I can't remember anything about Tricia and Misbegotten Warrior. I feel like the Perfumer and Misbegotten Warrior's movesets probably complement each other a lot better than the Misbegotten Warrior and the Crucible Knight, so I might say C tier. I don't remember having any trouble with this one. Promised Consort Radan. I'm going to put Promised Consort Radan in A tier. There was a long time where I would have put Promised Consort Radan in C or D. There are still certain attacks, particularly towards the second phase, that are the reason I am not putting him in S tier. I've got to a point where, having beaten it, I feel like I've got the hang of it fairly well. Even though I kept getting killed by things in phase 2 that annoyed me, I really enjoyed the actual process of fighting, particularly phase phase 1. I like phase 1 more than phase 2 by a fair margin. By a significant margin, this is the boss that I have beaten that has killed me the most in any video game out of bosses that I've beaten. There is definitely some RNG. I think in particular, it's the gravity grab attack in phase 2. The follow-up to that is just insane, and I have no idea what is going on there. But overall, having beaten it, I really enjoyed my final run of it, and I'm a lot better at parrying now than I used to be. I wonder how that happened. This boss took 8 streams to beat. The holy damage out of the ground in phase 2 is a bit annoying as well. Basically, my point is there are just certain things that hold it back from S tier for me. Definitely A tier. Putrescent Knight. I don't know if this is a hot take or not. I hate this boss. I don't think it's fair to put it in the awful tier, because the awful tier is like the really bad ones, the ones where I'm like, there's genuinely a flaw in the design here. But I hate this fight. I feel like the timings just don't make sense. This boss does not conform to physics, and I don't like that. And the phase 2 like fire attacks are really weird to dodge as well. I saw a video recently, just a couple of days ago. The fall into this boss fight is the longest fall in any From Software game. It's 12 seconds of falling every time to land in the arena and get an attempt on this boss. Just put a stake of Marika in that arena, please. Putrid Avatar. The boss versions of Putrid Avatar are C tier. I really don't like the jump attack for Putrid Avatar. The way it sprays the Scarlet Rot build up, that's C tier because of that attack. Putrid Crystallian Trio I didn't find in the game. I missed that one. Putrid Grave Warden Duelist. It's not on my list, so I'm putting it in the I didn't fight it category. Putrid Tree Spirit. Now, I'm not a huge fan of the ulcerated tree spirit in general. I will get to the reasons why later, but the putrid tree spirit for me is just a worse version of them. But I don't think it's bad enough to go in poor. I think I will put it in C tier, and I will get more into that when I reach ulcerated tree spirit, talk about what I do and don't like about them. Now, Radagon of the Golden Order is an interesting one. Radagon I got annoyed with during the process of trying to beat Elden Beast, because I just don't like that you have to do Radagon again every time to get to Elden Beast. Multi-phase boss fights, the next phase should always build on the first phase. If your phase 2 is completely different from your phase 1, then those should be 2 different bosses. That being said, I am going to separate them here. I've already done that with my ranking of Elden Beast in C tier. I did actually beat Radagon first try, and on that first attempt, I thought he was a good boss. And I think I'm actually going to put Radagon in A tier. Considering him as a separate boss from Elden Beast, I think he is actually very good. And by God, I wish there was a mod to make him stay dead. Rakshasa is E tier. Fuck Rakshasa. She can just keep spamming her move. She's got a special move, and she never runs out of FP or stamina, and she just keeps spamming it. And she's very annoying. I don't really have anything more to say about that. She's just very annoying, because she just keeps spamming one move that you can't really hit her out of. Red Bear. Red Bear's C tier. He doesn't do much. Red Bear was the first DLC boss that I beat. I struggled with the DLC bosses a lot for the first few streams there. He was reasonably fun. There just wasn't much to him. So I think C tier is really where he belongs. He's passable. He's another NPC fight, but he's fine. Red Wolf of Radagon. The question is Red Wolf of Radagon a poor boss or an awful boss? I got really annoyed at Red Wolf of Radagon. I just didn't enjoy it. I think I'm going to put D tier. I don't like the moveset. The arena combined with the moveset, I feel like the arena doesn't work. I don't like the Red Wolf enemy that you fight behind Carian Manor either. Give me Sif any day. Regal Ancestor Spirit. I didn't notice any difference doing this fight from normal Ancestor Spirit, and therefore also A tier. Next is R'hllana Twin Moon Knight. Easy S tier. Pontiff Sullivan 2.0, but she can turn into the moon and nuke the whole arena. The design, the soundtrack, the arena, all fantastic. Excellent stuff. Secondly, the moveset. just really fun. Just really, really fun. Difficult, but really fun. You can parry her. I didn't. I might do that on my next playthrough. Yeah, I don't have particularly any more notes to say on this other than R'hllana is just really fun. Kind of similar to Pontiff in her design and a bit similar in the way the fight plays out as well, with her having very long combos. Easily S tier for me. I kind of wish I'd done her a bit earlier than I did so I could have had more attempts on her. R'hllana, Queen of the Full Moon. Not as good. I'm going to say I don't think she quite gets to be A tier, so I'll put her in B tier. Fun. I really like the atmosphere in the first phase. I found her really easy, and I think part of that was that she didn't really do any difficult summons in phase 2. The phase 2 arena kind of is sort of just Rom's arena, to be fair. I'm not complaining, it looks gorgeous. A lot of people who play From Software games complain about gimmick bosses or puzzle bosses, and I say to that, that's the norm. Souls-likes were kind of some of the earlier games to have bosses be rhythm games, essentially. I like when a boss has a puzzle that you've got to work out about it, and I did like that in the first phase. I enjoyed that, and I enjoyed the atmosphere, and I enjoyed the fight overall. Romina. Romina's a weird one because I got annoyed at Romina. I think she's also B tier for me. She has a really good OST and I like the visual design a lot, but some aspects of the moveset do annoy me with the way the weak spot. I like having a weak spot, but it's really hard to get at this weak spot sometimes, just depending on how she moves. I liked her a lot on my first attempt, and then I couldn't work out how to deal with her later, and then I finally kind of worked it out, but there are certain moves that hold her back from A for me in certain things. Still a good boss, just not an excellent boss. Royal Knight Loretta, A tier, easily A tier, along with Loretta Knight of the Haligtree. I like the Royal Knight Carian Manor version more than the actual version that you meet at the Haligtree. I can't quantify why, I just do. I think I've said most of what I can say about this with the previous one. It's a really fun moveset. I like the aesthetic. I like the whole fight. It's a good fight. It was one of my favorites for a long time. It still is up there. Royal Revenant, I did not find. I can tell you right now, I wouldn't have liked it because it's one of those horrible many-armed things that leap at you that you get in Liurnia and then later on in Alphael. But I didn't find it on my first playthrough, so it goes in bosses I missed. Regalia the Red Bear. I liked Regalia. There isn't a huge amount to Regalia. I do like the aesthetic of a really big red rune bear, and I think I will say B tier. I enjoyed the fight. The normal rune bear boss fight, I, again, didn't find. I was quite bad at finding things in this game. Rykard, Lord of Blasphemy. Excellent cutscene on this man. Together we shall devour the very gods. Unfortunately, I didn't enjoy the fight very much. It is very much a use this specific weapon in order to damage the boss. Now, I don't necessarily have a problem with that as a concept, as long as the weapon is given to you in a way that you can't miss it, as this is. I like Yhorm in Dark Souls 3 a lot. However, Rykard's attacks are just annoying. I do enjoy all of the visuals and the design and the cutscene. I just don't enjoy the fight. Sanguine Noble, it's another one I don't enjoy. I never got the hang of the Sanguine Noble enemies. I barely even remember their moveset. All I remember is that they're difficult and I never really got the hang of them and I never particularly enjoyed fighting them. D tier for Sanguine Noble. Shadow Tree Avatar. There was a while during my attempts where I would have put this boss in C tier, but I actually enjoyed my final attempt, my winning attempt, quite a lot. And actually, I think I'm going to put this one in A tier. I'm not a great fan of its massive bloody area of effect boom that it does when it's on really low health, but overall I did end up enjoying this quite a lot. I love the design of it. The visual design is just excellent. Skilly Misbegotten's a poor boss. Don't have any more to say on that really. It's just a misbegotten enemy. D tier, poor boss. Sir Gideon Ofnir, the all-annoying. Fuck this boss. I hate this boss. This is a dreadful boss. It's incredibly annoying. I hate his magic. I hate him personally. And I think that he should feel bad about himself. And I will probably never not use Mimic Tier on him. Moving on to Soldier of Godric. This is not a boss. Like, I understand the argument with this of, oh, it's the tutorial boss, but Iudex Gundyr was the tutorial boss, and he's really good. Tutorial bosses don't have to be a generic enemy. Spirit Collar Snail, Crucible Knight. I didn't find this on my first playthrough. Star Scourge Radan. I think Star Scourge Radan deserves to be an A tier. I don't think he's an S tier boss. And I think part of that is the arrow section at the beginning. I find that very annoying. I don't like that. I wish I could just start next to him. They're not actually difficult once you get the timing, but I still hate it. I think overall A tier. Stone Digger Troll is, for me, D tier. It doesn't do much. The one thing that it does that normal trolls don't do is a massive AoE attack that's really hard to dodge and I don't like. I didn't enjoy Stone Digger Troll. Tibia Mariner, normal Tibia Mariner, B tier. I like the Tibia Mariners. Great name, great design visually. Surprisingly, for a boss that summons minions, which I normally hate, the minions aren't too much of a problem, and I think it's quite fun. I like the Tibia Mariners. I still want to know why it's specifically Tibias that they're involved with. We may never know. Tibia Mariner with Giant Skeleton, I'm going to put in C tier, however. I just find the Giant Skeleton a bit more annoying. I don't have a huge justification for that, other than I personally just don't enjoy fighting that version as much as the other ones. Now, Tree Sentinel. Tree Sentinel is an A tier boss. It's just really enjoyable. It's fun to fight. It has an excellent OST. It has good visual design. I don't think there are any Tree Sentinels that are in a bad arena. I think the one that's probably in the worst arena is actually probably the first one, because there are a few rocks and stuff you can get backed into, but it doesn't drag it down for me. I don't really have a problem with that. I really like the Tree Sentinel fight. Tree Sentinel Duo, I'm not so big on. I'm going to put that in B tier. Again, similar to the Knights Cavalry Duo, I fought them one by one rather than actually fighting the whole duo at once. They would probably be really annoying if you did the duo as a duo, but I didn't. They weren't exceptional, they were fine. I really feel like Omen Killer shouldn't be in the same tier as some of these other bosses. This is feeling wrong. I'm moving Omen Killer down to C tier. Ulcerated Tree Spirit. Do I put this in C tier or B tier? I got annoyed at Ulcerated Tree Spirit, so I think I'm putting it in upper C tier. It's definitely better than Putrid Tree Spirit, but I think it's very similar level. It's a difficult moveset to get the hang of. I remember getting annoyed by a lot of the attacks that it has, to be honest. I think it's just a case of it's one that I don't particularly vibe with, so I feel they are C tier for me. Now this may be controversial, but Valiant Gargoyles is going in A tier for me. I just really enjoyed the fight. I got Valiant Gargoyles first try. I think I got good RNG because quite a lot of the time only one of them was like being aggressive, kind of like Demon Princes, which is my favorite duo fight that From Software has ever done. I got a situation where only one of the gargoyles would be aggressive for a lot of the fight, and I think part of that was just good RNG. Maybe if I did the fight again, I wouldn't like it as much, but I found that fight really fun, and so for basing this on my first playthrough, it has to go in excellent because I just really enjoyed it. Vika, Knight of the Round Table. Vika was fine. For an NPC, he was pretty good. I think he's actually my favorite NPC fight. I feel like he is a cut above most of the things I've put in C tier, but I'm not sure that he's on level with like Fortisax and Erdtree Avatar and Crucible Knight. I'll put him in C tier for being an NPC. He has a heal, if I remember correctly. He is an NPC moveset. He wasn't very challenging, so I think I'll put him in C tier. And the final boss, Wormface. I did Wormface when I was over leveled, so there's very much a chance that he might have been awful if I did him at the level where you actually first go to Altus Plateau, because the area he's in is full of other Deathblight spitting enemies, so you could very easily get into a situation where you're fighting multiple things at once. Also, he spits Deathblight, and that's annoying. He's like a basilisk boss. Generally, I just think this boss is quite poor. D tier it is. And that is the tier list. When I announced this stream earlier today, I did promise to bring only bad opinions and incorrect takes. I think I've done that fairly well. Let's view the community rank. Cumulative average rankings from 8 submitted tier lists. Only 8 people have submitted tier lists here. Let's see what the biggest bad takes from me were according to the community. They were definitely Mesmer and Millennia. Oh, of course, to be fair, I did modify this so the community ranking doesn't have as many tiers as me. Vindication, Fierce Champions is terrible. Who's putting Lamenter as high as C tier? You're talking nonsense.